I can't hear anything.
Happy trails to you till we meet again.
Was there no sound?
No, not the beginning.
Well, what the hell happened? It worked before we went on the air. Why the hell didn't it work after we were off the air? Well, there was supposed to be music. God damn it!
You want to try it again?
God damn it!
Jeez, wow. What are you getting so hot for?
Can you hear the music now?
Now I can.
Bombadita, 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 until we meet again. Happy trails to you. He's fine until then.
Who cares about the clouds when we're together? Just sing a song and think about sunny weather.
Happy trails to you till we meet again.
There we go.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Blueshirt Underground Show. We are back just 2 days later. We are here to discuss what was expected by most once the catastrophic wasteland was laid to the front office last week. We all kind of felt the clock was ticking on one David Quinn, and the bell has tolled for thee, Mr. Quinn. David Quinn fired today, relieved of his duties, as they say on the internet. We've decided to go in a different direction. We wish him all the best. My name is Jim, and as always, I'm joined on the other side of the window by the one and only Eddie Geik. Eddie, good evening. How are you, sir?
Well, doing well. Now we have the post-apocalyptic era of the New York Rangers. We had to clean house, guys. It just wasn't happening fast enough. The two statements have been made by the
breaking news.
Tony D'Angelo, officially a Ranger again.
Here in the chat.
Wow. I look forward to you coming back.
So who's the next head coach? Rand Paul?
Yeah. Rand Paul and assistant coach Fauci, so they can argue for fucking 9. Why don't these two idiots just stop arguing? Who cares? I don't care. Sorry. Anyway, the New York Rangers have parted ways with young David Quinn. I guess, we saw it coming. There were some beat reporters out there that thought maybe since he didn't get fired one day after the season or after the Ranger season was over, that he would be gone. But I guess those exit interviews, Chris Kreider had to come clean there after being tortured.
If I'm a coach of the New York Rangers, when that season ends and I see that sign up on the bulletin board, exit interviews tomorrow at 10 a.m., I am officially shitting my pants, boy. I'll tell you.
Those exit interviews.
Slip, sink ships.
I think, they were trying to, I don't know. Some of those guys look real beat up. Come on, tell me he's a bad coach. No, I liked him. Tell me he's a bad coach. No.
Right.
Well, there is a part of this fan base that is happy today. They did not like David Quinn. They did not think he played the kids well. He wasn't a good coach because he had the veterans here and he had the young guys there. whatever their reasons, and some guys that I really respect that did not like this guy as coach. Mr. French, longtime listener to the show. I think he's a Connecticut resident. I did not like him. He's a guy's opinion who I respect. Who else didn't like Quinn that we know?
Justin doesn't like any coach.
Yeah, he doesn't like anybody. He's just frustrated with life. And then you got somebody else. Oh, Steven Schaefer did not like him.
No.
A lot of guys that as far as he went, I said he was mad. Like, I mean, do I think in the overall picture, did he get a raw deal? Probably. Everybody got a raw deal. Certainly the other two guys had much more success, and I just didn't think David Quinn was all that great of a in-the-game coach. He wasn't one guy. He wasn't a guy really for benching people. I don't know. It's an incomplete for him because I didn't get to see the final result. I think he had 1 year left on his contract, right, Jim?
I think so.
Yeah, I think next year would have been his last.
Sean McCaff hits the nail on the head.
Exactly, Sean. And I was going to allude that. The next coach has an immediate target on him as soon as he's at the press conference. As soon as they announce him, I don't like the way he sounded. It's going to be like that.
I don't like his suit.
I don't like his hair. I don't like his face.
Right. I don't like his face. That was the one.
I didn't like all those assistant coaches' faces.
This fan base is a constant state of disgruntlement.
Yeah. And they
2 years left on David Quinn's contract, reporting from the great
2 years
Blueshirt Buddha.
That makes a lot more sense, Blueshirt Buddha, because the Rangers never get through a coach's contract. And even 1 year before the contract, that would have been some space. So
good on him. He gets to sit home and work and or get paid for nothing. Good for him.
Yeah, I mean, good for all those guys.
Right? I was a little surprised that Jacques Martin was also let go.
Everything
but I guess
goes.
Everything must go. Clean slate. It's a complete clean slate.
Yeah. It's just par for the course.
It looks like we've already been kicked off Facebook because we played the Van Halen song. The minute we play music, they kick us off. Then they send me a nasty note, and then I send them one back and tell them to shove it up their ass. And then usually they leave me alone. They put the show back on. They post it back to Facebook. But you're best off just watching us on YouTube because YouTube doesn't give a shit what we do for the most part.
You mean Facebook?
No, YouTube. They don't. YouTube doesn't give a shit. Facebook takes us off the minute we play music. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and then I get a warning that says, you have violated Warner Music rights, sir.
I checked
Get the fuck out of here.
Facebook.
Anyway,
right.
So just watch us on YouTube because YouTube doesn't give a fuck.
See, I would think YouTube would. But apparently, it used to be policed a lot tighter. So I remember when I used to do my Ranger Crisis videos, any music, I would get warnings, but they would never take it down. I would get a warning.
Yeah, I mean, there's no I don't know. YouTube, everything's on YouTube. Everything, music, everything. I mean, you could. So it does. I just don't think it matters to them anymore.
All right.
Anywho, here we are on YouTube. I have mixed feelings about this. I wasn't one of these guys that thought Quinn had to go, had to stay. What's up, Johnny Prestano? Good to see you. This wasn't like when Tortorella was fired. I was vehement that he had to go. I had enough of him. I had enough of his attitude. I had enough of boring 2-1 hockey. I'd had enough. And I felt I was vehement in stating on this show, you can go back and listen to it. I said he has to go. And he did. There was one time the Rangers listened to me. AV, you knew that was coming the minute the letter went out. You knew AV was done. They should have really let him go when they sent out the letter, but whatever, it is what it is. David Quinn, I felt like he kind of did the job he was brought in to do. And I again, I'm not like, I don't agree with everything he does, but I'm never going to agree with everything he does unless he wins a cup. But on the good side, I feel like, okay, now that mystery's out of the way. So now we could completely start over. We'll get a new coach. We don't have to worry going into the next season. What's going to happen if they start off 5-10? Is he on the hot seat? So we're going to start. We're going back to, we start from scratch. Only now we got better players to do it with.
Here's a question for you and also the people scoring at home. We've been doing this show how long? 11, 12 years?
Going on 12 years.
All right, 12 years. I want you to rank the coaches that we've had since we've been on the broadcast. So I guess the first guy would be Tom Rennie, right? Then we had Tortsy. And then after Tortsy, we had AV.
Yes, this is the third coach firing we've had since we started doing this.
And David Quinn.
Yes.
Where would you put Quinn in that mix?
Hard to judge. In terms of likability, in terms of coachability, in terms of results.
Likability.
I liked AV. I liked AV
too. I had no problem with him.
I mean, I didn't always agree with his style, and I'm still, there's a lot of thinking on AV that he's just managed to survive on the backs of 2 Hall of Fame goaltenders, and that's how he got as far as he did. And maybe there's a little truth to that,
and he was more of a designator. He wasn't a guy
right. He was a delegator, absolutely. But doesn't any great coach thrive on the backs of great players? So I don't know if I buy all of that. I thought, look, I harbor no ill will to Alain Vigneault. He's only one of 3 coaches that ever enabled me to watch the Rangers play in the Stanley Cup final. And I got to see the Rangers play live. That may never happen again in my lifetime, where I go to a Stanley Cup final game and the Rangers are in it. So I wish him well. I wish him all the best. I had no problem with him. Tortorella, I couldn't fucking stand him. Couldn't stand him.
You didn't like the antics at the time?
It got real old. I thought, he embarrassed himself. He had the job for 2 months and embarrassed himself in those playoffs, fighting with the fans. He gets himself suspended. How do you do that? You're on the job a month and a half. You get yourself suspended for a playoff game. You gotta. He's an arrogant jackass. He really is.
What he did to Stu Bickle, Stink Pickle.
The great okay. Stu Bickle.
All right. Tom Rennie, would you say Tom Rennie and Quinn? See, I kind of equate Rennie and Quinn in the same. I mean, they were likable guys.
Right.
I don't know.
I think in terms of the last 4 coaches the Rangers have had, I do think that at the time they were hired, they were probably the right guy at the right time. I think Rennie was the right guy coming out of the lockout because he had worked he was the the director of player personnel or something like that when Sather gave him the job. So a lot of these guys, he had a hand in drafting and signing. They were coming out of the lockout. He was familiar with a lot of these guys. So he was probably the right coach at that time. But he wasn't a hard ass.
No.
And they needed a bit of they needed a swift kick in the ass at the time, and in comes Tortorella. And again, he was probably the right guy at the right time. But after 4 years of blocking shots, the Rangers wanted a different style and a breath of fresh air, and that's what AV was. It wasn't just this. It was everything felt. What's the word I'm looking for? Imprisoned, for lack of a better term. Everything about the Tortorella era,
very
just
stifling atmosphere.
Yes, stifling. It felt like you were just in a windowless room with no air, and I got so sick of the antics and the press conferences. it's funny once in a while, but I got so tired of it. He's just an arrogant jackass when it comes to his coach. I know people love him as a person. They talk about the work he does off the ice, and I'm sure that's all well and good. But I had just had enough. And when AV came along, it was just like a breath of fresh air. Here's a coach who laughs and jokes and has a little fun, and the Rangers.
They did bits where do you know the player by Peter would do that, and he even actually knew the players.
Right. And, a good portion of the first 2 or 3 years that AV was coaching the team, they were fun to watch. I mean, that was exciting, but you knew, like I said, when the letter went out, you knew AV's time was up.
Right.
You knew they weren't going to move forward.
The guy for the youth.
Right.
The youth. Matt B says that AV was a lemon sorbet palate cleanser. That's a good way to put it. He turned out to be a lemon at the end, and we had to. He really didn't. I mean, they really weren't going anywhere. He's not the coach that they needed for the youth.
Right.
He's just not that type of coach.
And I guess when Quinn, according to what I've read today since the word came down, when they did these exit interviews, the players they didn't like what they heard. The players just felt he was out of touch with some of them, and they decided to make a change, but kind of felt like it was coming regardless. Because
that's what I'm saying. I mean, they may have added that, Jim, but I don't know. I mean, he was gone regardless. Even if they said he was the best coach in the world, Drury wants his guys in. This is nothing I'm telling out of school here. Everybody knows this is what happens in sports. They want their guys. But apparently, and we heard that Drury and Quinn were, kind of buds. It might not happen, but that's why I'm a little worried who's making these decisions. But at this point, I don't care. I mean, I'm not having faith in this organization as far as the upper people go, because it's a sideshow again. Now, I don't know what to expect. I don't know if they're going to fucking, like you mentioned, they're going to trade for Ryan Reeves, and they're going to send Kako. And some of these packages, I'm sorry. I won't be sorry. Chef Rob, welcome. I just want to say one thing. These packages they're talking about for Eichel are ridiculous. I'm not giving up that much. I'm sorry. That's it. End of story. But back to the coaching.
So, it's according to Larry Brooks said that Quinn was instrumental in the development of the cadre of impressive young blue bloods that features Adam Fox, Keandre Miller, Ryan Lindgren, Pavel Buchnevich, and Capo Kako. He presided over Alexei Lafreniere's improvement through his freshman season and over the wrenching transfer and goal from the iconic Henrik Lundqvist to Igor Shesterkin. But the Rangers too often seemed flat at the start of games and were unable to maintain a level of consistency throughout through this unique season, and were hammered 3 times within 12 days by the Islanders by an aggregate 13-1 margin when the playoffs were still in sight late in the season. As well, Quinn was unable to get his marquee players to buy in on the need to adopt a more straight-line approach when opponents such as the Islanders game plan to take away their time and space. His pleas for the club to adopt more of a shooting mentality never seemed to get through to the skilled players, who became increasingly stubborn this year in their quest to score picture-perfect goals.
Fairly good summation, but I would when your coach tells you to do something, what do you do? I guess he failed to do that.
You rat him out in the exit interviews. That's what you do.
Yeah.
Here comes
you bench those motherfuckers.
Here comes the statement from this article by Larry Brooks that depressed me. And I know it's not that I didn't know it. It's just depressing to read it in print. That was the case, however, and Quinn was unable to make well enough to sway Drury. So it will be on to head coach number 36 in franchise history, who will attempt to become only the 4th one ever to win the Stanley Cup. Lester Patrick, Frank Boucher, and Mike Keenan. That's
I just got
try to be the fourth, Eddie.
a reality migraine now.
Now, of course, if you want to play Pollyanna, you could say, "Oh, the Islanders only have one coach that won a Stanley Cup for them."
That's true.
So do the Flyers.
Yeah. Unfortunately, well,
Then again, so do but then again, the Devils also.
Is Al Albert still alive? Or is he a dead man?
I believe Al has passed on.
Oh, okay.
He's buried in the Nassau Coliseum parking lot. The Devils, I believe, won 3 Stanley Cups. Did they win 3 with two different coaches? I think Lemaire coached them twice.
Right,
2 Stanley Cups. I think.
Bullshit.
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah,
three coaches in almost 100 years. God, it's almost 100 years for this franchise.
It's a joke.
So let the speculation begin. It's already begun.
Al Albert dead.
Al Albert dead.
Just did.
Cross him off the list.
How about
cross him off the list?
The
How about who?
of that. Bill Torrey, whatever that guy was, their GM, president, whatever. Is he dead too? The bow tie. They retired that ridiculous bow tie.
Right.
Anyway,
reporting that the Devils won 3 with 3 different coaches.
Really?
Pat Burns. I forgot Pat Burns was even a coach there. Pat Burns.
Oh, yeah. He was a good coach. I know he's dead.
He is dead.
This is like the Deadpool.
Right.
Deadpool. All right. So I know you people are chomping at the bit. Maybe Jim. Well, I'm annoyed that Larry Brooks has the inside track again. Let me just tell you, it just annoys me.
It's 2010 all over again. It's like
access pass.
Back to the Future, like the great poster said today in the Facebook group.
Yeah.
Back to the Future.
Larry's back, and now he doesn't have to steal from us. He's got real sources.
Right. Guess who's back? Back again.
Now, I know you all want to let the conjecture begin on who the next coach of the Rangers would be. I know Jim does not want one of the front runners. I'm going to just say right now, you guys can talk about this. I really don't care. I really don't care. I'll care when I see it. I'm not championing anybody. I'm not, I've seen the list. I think some of them are buffoons. There it is. That's a Picasso. I said that on the Facebook.
Yeah, I told him he's the Picasso of Photoshop.
That was great.
Look at that.
Look at that, boys and girls.
I just said, make sure you put our logo on everything from now on.
Yeah, because it'll be stolen.
This fucking Blueshirt banner stealing half our shit.
Aren't they making ribs right now or something over there?
I don't know what they got in the smoker today.
Smoker.
Who knows what they're doing?
So let's stop seeing.
But hello to the Blueshirt banner crowd. We know you're here and watching.
You should be. This is a place where it's fun. Right. It's all about fun. If it ain't fun, I ain't doing it. So my mantra in life. Adam Bartolo, I salute you. F Blueshirt Barbecue. All right. So let's get down to business. Let's get down to beeswax, as I say.
Right.
Let's talk about some of these contenders. I could have been a contender. I guess the first is Gerard Gallant. Now,
the hot name.
That's the hot name. Right now, that is...
according to Dancing Larry Brooks, he will be first on the docket.
He might be the first and last on the docket. Now,
first, if he likes it, and if they like what they hear, and they won't let him leave the building.
Someone's asking me, am I against anyone as far as... well, yeah, there are a few names that have been bantered about. Excuse my French. But I'll go into that. I want to hear Jim, and I want to hear you guys, because I don't really know too much about these candidates. I mean, I know who Gerard Gallant is and who he's coached. I know he was a tough-ass fucking player when he played. He could even chip in goals. He was a goal scorer. He's a tough mother and on a tough Detroit team. What's happened to Gerard Gallant in his coaching career? He's apparently gotten the shaft, so to speak.
This is from the Larry Brooks article. Gerard Gallant, favorite to become Ranger coach, with Tortorella unlikely. I do not believe there will be a reunion, even if Tortorella has maintained warm relationships with Jim Dolan and Glenn Sather in the aftermath of his dismissal following 2012-13. And yeah, let's not forget that Jim Dolan spent the first 20 fucking minutes of AV's introductory press conference kissing John Tortorella's ass, the guy that just got fired.
I know. He loved Tortorella.
Right. All right. So, okay. This is not the right time for a coach whose eternal instinct is to break down players before building them back up in his own image. This is not the time for a coach who endorses confrontation as a constructive tool in team building. He has been successful following that path in varying degrees in all of his stops except Vancouver. His influence took hold on Broadway, but the first time around he had Ryan Callahan, Brandon Dubinsky, Dan Girardi, Derek Stepan, Mark Stoll, Ryan McDonough, and Henrik Lundqvist to mold. A far different cast of characters than Alexei Lafreniere, Capo Caco, Vitaly Kravtsov, Adam Fox, Philip Hedl, and presumably Nils Lundqvist and Igor Shesterkin. Plus, his first time around, there was a fissure. I don't like that word. Fisher. With Marian Gaborik.
Fisher?
Yeah, the team's most talented athlete. Talented players left Columbus during his term that ended with this year's finale. It is believed that a significant part of the reason David Quinn was dismissed by general manager Chris Drury is the disconnect that developed between the coach and his marquee talent players as the season evolved. Then he goes on to say, sources have indicated that Gerard Gallant, who engineered the revival of the Panthers before taking the Golden Knights to the Cup final in the expansion team's inaugural season, is at the top of the list and should expect an interview with Drury forthwith, which I believe means soon. Gallant believes in an up-tempo, puck pursuit, puck pressure hockey. He was successful with a very young group in Florida that featured 20-year-old Alexander Barkov, 19-year-old Aaron Ekblad, 22-year-olds Jonathan Huberdeau and Vincent Trocheck as core pieces. They combined with 43-year-old Jaromir Jagr and 36-year-old netminder Roberto Luongo in leading the Putty Tats to the 2016 playoffs before Gallant was kicked to the curb the following year after a philosophical fallout with ownership when they left the poor guy to hail his own cab at the hotel. You remember that?
Yeah.
They left him standing outside the hotel by himself after they fired him with his bags. And he was successful in Vegas with a group of cast-offs who had something to prove, molting discards with chips on their shoulders into a Stanley Cup finalist in the franchise's first season before being replaced 2 years later when Pete DeBoer came on the market. I talked with several individuals. I talked with several individuals in the league familiar with Gallant. Their scouting reports were close to identical. To wit, Gallant is a no-nonsense guy who commands respect, communicates well with his players and staff, but not necessarily with the media and public.
Oh, boy.
He is low-key and shuns the spotlight, but is not necessarily known for bringing structure to a team. He can coach prospects, but cuts them little slack. Now, here's the part that this is something I semi-alluded to the other day. Perusing his resume, I found it interesting that in each of his previous 3 stops, the first in Columbus beginning in 2003-04, he was fired during the middle of his 3rd season. That does not represent much of a shelf life. Not to mention what I said the other night, he's been fired 2 times with a winning record. Not a great winning record, but a winning record. It's not, you don't often make changes like that, especially when you have a team that just went to the Stanley Cup. So, but apparently he is going to be first on the docket. And And then Larry goes on to say, Claude Julien, a cup winner, is available. So is Mike Babcock, a cup winner who left Toronto under a cloud and whose reputation needs rehabilitation. This is probably not the best time or place for that. And here's a name I keep hearing mentioned. I can't understand why anybody would want this guy. Bruce Boudreau is looking for a job. You want Bruce Boudreau coaching the Rangers?
No.
Don't you want to win a cup? Don't you want to win a playoff game?
I don't want to see that fat bastard.
Baby Huey,
who's been anti-Ranger. I mean, he's the reason that we have that "Can you hear us?" chant.
Right.
Because he said the Capitals crowds were louder than MSG crowds.
Right.
I don't want anyone who besmirches this historic 3-cup winning franchise.
This long-standing tradition of winning and Title Town, baby.
That's right. Title-less.
Town Manhattan.
Yes. I don't want him anywhere near this pristine franchise that does everything correctly and the up and up. No.
Yeah, I was going to mention the Haagen-Dazs. AEM brought it up. They have Haagen-Dazs at the Garden.
Yeah, that's right. That's true. He did say that. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Now, he's another guy. Here
is who, me personally, who if I have a choice, and I know I don't, but if I had a say, if Chris Drury's listening to the show, and if he is, then I'm sorry for some of the things I've said for the last 12 years.
Doing a great job, Chris. Love your look.
And then there is Bob Hartley, who won the 2001 Cup with Drury on the Avalanche, outcoached Scotty Bowman twice during the Colorado Detroit Maelstrom, and just won the 2021 KHL Gagarin Cup.
The Bob Guerin Cup?
The Bob Guerin Cup with Avant-Garde Omsk. If I don't know if I'm saying that right.
Is that a theater group or a team?
It's an improv group. To add to previous championships won in the AHL and QMJHL. Hartley is believed to have a clause in his contract that would allow him to take an NHL job. His relationship with Drury is strong. Now, if you're asking me, Bob Hartley is an intriguing option, and not just because of the Bob Newhart show.
I was going to say.
Because the Hi Bob jokes are endless. Hi Bob. I mean, we can find so many clips of Hi Bob.
For comedy reasons, he'd be good.
What about Bob? I like the fact that this guy's won a championship in every league he's coached in.
Well, give me his NHL background. Could you put that?
I can.
Because I'm deciding right now, guys.
I looked at it earlier.
Okay, because I'm so disgusted. I'm not going to dive into this. I'm not doing a deep dive.
If you just
I need you guys.
Bear with me 1 second. I'll pull up a picture of him. We'll put his picture on the screen so Ranger fans can get familiar with him. We know what he looks like. And let's see. Here we go. Whoops. Hold on. Sorry. Open link in the window. Nope. Sorry. Bear with me 1 second. Image new tab. Share the screen. All right. So there is Bob Hartley. All right, he's right there.
Wow, there he goes.
Now, he was first the coach of the Colorado Avalanche. He coached them for 5 seasons. His record with the Colorado Avalanche was 193, 108, 48 ties, and they won the Stanley Cup in 2001.
Ties?
Yes. Back in the day.
When Ray Bourque went over to Colorado, won his cup and the whole bit, right?
Yes. I believe they beat the Devils that year, didn't they? They did. They beat the Devils in 7 games. Joe Sakic was on that team. Great team. They had okay. After that, he was the head coach of the now defunct, I like that word, Atlanta Thrashers.
Okay.
And he finished 5 years in Atlanta with a record of 136, 118, and 13. So even in Atlanta, he did have a winning record. He took them to the playoffs once. That was in 2007. If your memory is intact, you know what happened to the Atlanta Thrashers in the 2007
They
playoffs.
got swept by the New York Rangers.
Swept away, baby. But that's okay. Then he moved on to the Calgary Flames. And that was his last NHL coaching job with the Calgary Flames. He was 134 and 135 and only made the playoffs one season. But let me pull up. Let me see if this has his.
Does anybody know what kind of demeanor this guy has?
He won a championship with the Hershey Bears. He won a championship with the Zurich team in the Swiss League.
Oh, I'm sold now. You had me at Zurich.
Well, I know it sounds, but this guy's coached in the KHL. This guy's done a lot of coaching in Europe. That can't hurt.
Right.
When we have Capo Caco and Kravtsov on this team and Lundqvist on the way, Shesterkin on the team. I kind of, I know his recent NHL track record isn't great, but guys, I mean, if you look at his overall body of work, the guy could coach.
The great James Toke is now in the chat room. Just want to say that. Good to see Jimmy. Go ahead.
What's up, Jimmy? Jimmy's a big gamer. He's always on Twitch.
Really?
Playing his games, yes. I believe he is the Wookiee Wins on Twitch, if I remember.
Wow. Well, he's a Wookiee fan, so I'm down with that. All right. So what else?
So again, there's a few red flags for me with Gerard Gallant. If you're just out of the names, if you're looking for a guy who's coached in the NHL who has a track record, and you want somebody established, then I would lean towards Bob Hartley over Gerard Gallant. I don't like this. I mean, like I said, there's red flags with this guy Gallant. It doesn't sound like you're worried about culture, and that comes from a structured team. And if this guy's got problems doing that, I don't know. I don't know if this guy. I just don't think he's the right fit.
You've sealed the deal. This guy is coming. Gallant is the sexy. He's just
everybody. Your contract.
It'll be announced tomorrow. Gerard Gallant, 5 years, $50 million. He's going to clean up all this Tom Wilson garbage and no nonsense coach. You play his way or the highway. This is what we need.
Well, Cutter, I keep hearing his
a goof,
but I keep hearing his name too.
How does
he fit into the category of a coach that could take you to the next level? He's never taken any. He didn't take anybody to the next level.
One of the greatest goalies ever play, but
absolutely, in my opinion, he is the greatest goalie to ever play.
But
I think
Hasek was better.
You think Hasek was better? I don't think you can go wrong with either one of them.
Yeah, Waha was good. I mean, he was great. I don't want to discuss that, but
it's definitely not the goaltender from New Jersey. Both of those guys were better than him. I don't care what anybody says.
Those guys.
I don't care how many games he won. So I don't see how Patrick Waugh is the answer. I don't think he checks all the boxes. I think Bob Hartley checks all the boxes. From what I'm hearing, what they're looking for, from what it looks like the Rangers need, I think Bob Hartley is the guy that checks all the boxes. John Tortorella doesn't check all the boxes. Gerard Gallant doesn't check the boxes. Patty Waugh doesn't check the boxes. How about AV?
What?
How about AV?
He's still under contract, I think. Or has he been fired yet? I'm usually late with these things. Has he been fired?
He has not yet.
Cutter is in some kind of fit because I mentioned Dominic Hasek. I mean, it's like 1A, 1B. I mean, I don't know. I always thought Dominic Hasek. Rick Tock.
I'm trying to answer Lou Guerrero. Hi, Lou. Lou Guerrero asked this question. Wait a minute, wrong one. Here. what has Hartley done with a young roster. He did have some young players with Atlanta.
The young Evander Kane. No, I don't know if he had. I don't know.
Braden Coburn was on that team. Well, he's been around a long time.
He's been around. Jesus, when's he retired?
Yeah, they had a pretty young team in 05, 06, and they won 41 games with a pretty young roster.
Are you really going to find a coach that's had success with a really young roster? Like, I'm trying to think of some of the recent Stanley Cup champions, and I don't know. It's tough. I mean, now Gallant does check that box with, Vegas was very good in there when they went to the Cup their first year. Now, I don't know if you can classify that as young but it was a mishmash of castaways, and
how's this for working with young players? When he won the Cup with Colorado in 2001, he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He had only 8 guys on the team over 30. Now, granted, one of them was Joe Sakic, one of them was Patrick Waugh, one of them was Ray Bourque. That helps.
Yes.
But still, he had Alex Tanguay was a young player. Ville Nieminen was a young player on that team. Dan Heinold, Milan Hajduk, Chris Drury, young player on that team. So Adam Deadmarsh, another young player on that team. They had a lot of good young players on that team.
All right.
I'm up with Bob Hartley. That's my guy.
What about some of these other guys they're throwing around? Everybody, Rob Brindamore.
I don't see Brindamore leaving Carolina. Why? I mean, why would he?
Is it possible? I mean, what's the dealio with him? Is he under contract? Is he not going to be under contract at the end of the year?
His contract expires at the end of the year, and they haven't. It's unknown if they're going to offer him another one. I just can't. Why would they let him go?
He's done a great job down there.
Waugh did coach the Avalanche for 3 years, winning the Jack Adams Award in his first season.
John Newman's here. I cannot be head coach. Mostly because of my skating is not that strong. I'd have to get on the ice.
You could just ride next to the ice in the Booger McFarland mobile. You could sit up in the crane and the cherry picker and just yell down at the players.
Put me on the Zamboni, yelling at people from the Zamboni.
Vince Mercogliano, he also had a list of options here. Gallant, Boudreau. He mentioned Bob Hartley, Claude Julien, Chris Knobloch. But the likelihood is that Knobloch will remain in his current role, which I think is the smart thing to do for him, because I think he's doing a good job there, and why maybe throwing him in with the big team. And then he mentions Lane Lambert. So obviously Vince needs
every ex Red Wing tough guy.
Vince needs a little bit of a history lesson on the Rangers' history in hiring Islanders. Former Islanders. Yeah. He's an assistant coach with the Islanders. That's going to be a big no-go.
Give me the WINS clip if you can.
All news, all the time. This is 1010 Wins. You give us 22 minutes. We'll give you the world.
This just in from user AEM. Friedman reporting Brindamore extension agreed. 3 years, 1.8 million per.
That's it?
I think that's false. Come on, AEM. We don't know who you are, so we can't really get behind that. But any reason to use the WINS lead in.
Right.
If that is true, Daryl Bush is here. Wow. I mean, these are oldies but goodies here tonight. SRO, as they say.
Right. Well, yep.
Wow.
Let's see. He also mentions torts. If I'll tell you what, I'll tell you right now, if they hire John Tortorella, you might as well just trade everybody under 25. Might as well just sell them all off.
I don't think, unless we don't know who the puppet master is yet. The puppet master will be revealed on the hiring, I think.
Larry tackled that, by the way. Larry mentioned that, by the way.
What did
Larry brought that up. Larry said,
Larry get knocked on the head. He's got sense now.
Larry said, where was it? Oh, here we go. By the way, Drury will remain GM of Team USA for the upcoming World Championships, but he will not be on hand for the tournament in Latvia that runs from May 21st to June 6th. Oh, and this notion that Dolan and Glenn Sather are going to be behind the curtain is as ignorant as it gets.
Oh, he called me ignorant. I don't know. I don't know why that would be after firing the GM and the coach, and that statement they released that I would think Dolan and Sather were behind this.
Right.
That's his cover. That's how he gets the info, by exonerating them from anything bad.
Right.
He puts out that misinformation. He gets the access.
Right.
Dancing Larry Brooks. All right.
You know, I read his column religiously every day, and you know, I do learn some things from him. But there are a lot of things he says I got to roll my eyes at.
Yeah, no, he's not bad. I mean, you know, he gets a lot of hits. When he starts giving his opinion, that's when I tune out, because nobody knows. No. He didn't break the story that Davidson all year long. No beat reporter could find out. I know they were not in the room much because of the COVID and all that stuff, but no one hinted there was any discord. I mean, every sport it leaks out that there's discord between nothing.
Right.
Nothing.
Well, Sportsnet reported 4 days ago that Carolina is working on a 3-year extension with Brindamore. And Friedman reported that Brindamore was expected to make around $1.8 million per season as part of the new contract. But I cannot find anything that says that contract is a done deal.
The Rangers will offer Rod Brindamore 5 years, $50 million. They will
overpay a first-round pick. What did we pay for Michel Bergeron?
Oh, God. We did it with Fred Shero, too.
That's right. They
the
did.
Rangers traded a first-round pick to get Fred Shero.
But he was GM and coach, right?
Right. Yes. And
then 2 years later, they fired him too.
Yeah. After getting him to a Stanley Cup.
Right.
So with the Rangers, you don't know. I mean, I think you got a different mentality now here with Chris Drury. I mean, what am I supposed to believe? Chris Drury is calling all the shots now? He's in total control.
According to DLB.
All right. Well, DLB, Dancing Larry Brooks, we'll see. I ain't believing you till I see it. And I know you care about my opinion, Danson. I've actually shook hands with you, and I've actually said 2 words to you. I said, what do you think about this Glenn Sather fire Glenn Sather rally? He said to me, I like any grassroots movement. That's all he said to me.
Right.
He would not comment. So, when's the next fire Glenn Sather rally?
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
A lot of shit. I tell you.
That's from Pavel Buchnevich, by the way.
Yes. So then there's some like real outliers. How about? Oh, I guess not. I guess I won't go into that. I think that's too obscure. My cat does not like this either.
Hello, Zuki.
The Zook. So I think the Rangers will go with either Scott Mellenby, assistant general manager. Oh, he's a general manager.
Scott Mellenby. There's a name I haven't heard in a while.
He's Montreal Canadiens assistant general manager. Kevin Weeks or John Ferguson. No, these are GMs. I'm reading the wrong thing. And then the upcoming coaches. Oh, no, these are all, they're not going to college. Get out of here. They're getting a name. They're getting somebody who's coached in this league before.
Yeah, I'm fairly sure of that.
He said this article does me no good. So young David Quinn is gone. We're left in a Ranger fan stasis. We don't know what is going on.
We are rudderless right now.
I share your concerns about Gerard Gallant, but it sounds just about right for this team.
There are
their history.
There are 14,000 people in the chat room right now. Tell me right now in the chat room, who do you want to be the next New York Rangers coach?
Go on the record, folks. I
want to see. Who does the chat room want for the New York Rangers' next head coach? Howie Sussman says purgatory.
No, he was saying state purgatory. Okay.
Josh Gimbel says, for me, it's Gallant or Hartley.
Okay, a man's whose opinion.
Sean Kraft says Hartley.
Oh.
Rob Scotty says Costa. We can't afford Costa.
No. Where is that miscreant?
How's Costa going to coach the team from his room?
He'll leave if the Rangers go down a goal.
Diane X likes Rick Tocchet. AEM says Hartley. Tony D'Angelo wants to play for Rob Brindamore. The great Joe Catroni says Bob Hartley. Andrew says, how about David Quinn's stunt double, Mike Sullivan, after he sweeps the Islanders?
I hope
Steve Leibowitz says Gallant. Dan Demers says Bob Hartley. What about Dan Demere's father, Jacques Demers? What about him for coach? Matt Morello says Bob Hartley. Adam Bartolo says Gallant. Jeff Drexler says that I've sold him on Hartley. Paul Sliker says Brindamore, the great quick release. Old school right there. There's an old school name right there. Paul, quick release. Brindamore. Mario Margado says Dr. Hartley. Brett Anderson wants Brindamore will be Gallant.
Scott Mellenby.
Howie Sussman says Gallant or Hartley. Sean McCaff says Torts or Messier just for the drama.
No.
He says Hartley, then Gallant. Tony Luigi. I'm a Luigi, number one. Says Gallant. Josh Gimbel, I would like one day to see a European coach in the NHL, but don't want the Rangers to be the first one. Blue Shirt Buddha says Gallant or Hartley. Mario Vaccarella, who I don't believe I recognize. Welcome, Mario.
Hey, Mario.
Gerard Gallant or Knobloch as a consolation prize. Chris the Meat says I'm also on board with Scott Mellenby. Daryl Bush says Daryl Sutter. Oh. Lou Guerrero says Brindamore. Sheffra says Hartley. Cutter says Mike McKenzie.
Who?
Mike McKenzie.
I don't know who Mike McKenzie is.
I don't know.
Right.
Tony D'Angelo now says Darius Kasparaitis. The ghost of Mike Keenan. Mike Keenan's not dead. Mike Keenan could still be had.
Brian, it's hard, just anyone but Torts.
That's your hashtag right there. Anyone but Torts.
Adam's here.
Oh, look at the cuts he getting. Josh, you have my permission to go beat the hell out of him.
Hartley from a Great Britain viewer. First-time commenter.
What's up, Adam? How are you? We're big in the UK. Very big. We're like David Hasselhoff in Germany. That's how big we are. Eddie and I put out an album in the UK.
Yes.
Jim, Eddie and Jim sing the hits.
Yes.
Sean McCaff still laughing that Cutter called Josh Kimball a nutsack.
Well, they have some kind of rivalry. Those two.
They do. Well, it's that. It's that whole.
Isn't it some kind of
thing.
Kitchener?
Cutter just doesn't want to be upstaged by a neighbor. You know what I mean?
I would worry. Josh knows where you live, Cutter.
Right.
All right.
Mike
So,
Jacobitz says it'll be Hartley. I'm good with that.
okay, what? Who's the guy that's being mentioned that I don't know too much about? Well, Babcock he's totally like out of the picture, right? Because he's had a bad rep, what he did with Toronto.
Yeah, well, there were some. There were some.
Oh, Mike McKenzie's the Kitchener Rangers.
Oh yeah. We're gonna go to Kitchener to find a head coach.
There's somebody else. I gotta scroll back and just see this.
I wouldn't go to Kitchener to buy a soda, much less a head coach.
Come on, they got that rutabaga beer.
Oh, it's right on the sign. Welcome to Kitchener, home of the rutabaga beer, home of turnip ale.
You don't think they're gonna get? I think Knobloch would be just the same as Quinn, really, at this point.
Well, all of a sudden the theories that people thought this team played differently under Knobloch and more relaxed, that were poo-pooed at first, now seem to be coming home to roost. That there's a lot of basis for that. And, apparently there was a different demeanor about the team playing under Knobloch, and I guess Drury noticed that too, because he was standing right there on the bench overseeing the whole thing.
Ete Brute. Oh, wow. I don't know, man. At this point, I'm in judgment mode. I was a kind of like, I was a staunch defender of JD, and I really bought into it, and I really took severe umbrage if anybody said anything against him. Now I'm in I don't care mode. I'm back to skeptic, pessimistic mode, which is comfortable for me. What does it say?
Kitchener, home of the yam-flavored alcoholic seltzer.
If you like yam and you want it in a liquid,
right, right. Yes, Mike Babcock always looks like he is trying to force out a shit.
Yeah, I don't like his face. It's very important I like the coach's face. It just doesn't have to be annoying, like punchable. So those are the candidates.
Those are the candidates.
Including from the number 21 hole, Scott Mellenby.
Scott Mellenby.
He's got the 21 post. It's like the Kentucky Derby. He's all the way out there.
He's the soup and sandwich of the whole Megillah.
And you know what? I'm kind of now Quinn's the target's off now. So all the people who have been bashing him and the constant, he's the wrong coach. It's all over. So now you can get on the next coach.
Right.
And nobody can coach better than you. You person on Twitter, the Twitter, the whole thing, the social medias, you could go again and they say the coach. But when are these players ever going to be accountable? That's what you keep changing the coaches. Wow. Every 3 years, 2 years, we change a coach. But, the players, they can just get 6 goals. And now I did talking about the players, speaking about the players. I am now getting a good vibe that was suggested in the chat room in the last show, and maybe you, that I think Philip Hedl is bye-bye. See you so long.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe. I don't know. Unless the next coach sees something in him that I don't. I don't know.
So that's the way I'm looking at it, Jim. I mean, I'm just I can't wait to pick apart the first move.
Right. Right.
That's what they put the position they put us in. I can't wait to skewer the Rangers for making a stupid move. When Evander Kane comes here and we give up cock. And I go back to that Eichel thing. Did you see what they're proposing in this trade? I'm sorry. I don't want Jack Eichel, who's got an injury problem, for all these guys. We got to sweeten the pot. Screw that. But, they're going to do it. They're going to do whatever you think is the stupidest move. They're going to do it. That's how much confidence I got in Chris Drury, because I know Dolan and, according to Larry Brooks, dancing Larry Brooks, Dolan and say they have no say. Come on, I'm ignorant.
By the way, if Jack Eichel has to have surgery, no player in the history of the NHL has ever had to have this surgery. I mean,
he's coming.
Talking about a 12-week rehab program for this guy that would take that's a whole summer. You're gonna make a big trade for this guy. Come on, let's move on from Jack Eichel. It's crazy. It might be a bigger risk than Eric Lindros was back then.
Get ready. There's going to be plenty of rants once the stupid moves happen. And if they make a good move, I'll acknowledge nicely.
You're ready to pounce.
Oh, I'm ready. I can't wait for the first stupid fucking move.
Right now, you're Randy Quaid in the middle of Major League 2. Not at the beginning, not at the end. You're the one in the middle.
Right.
Pick up the truck and turn this place into a parking lot.
Right, exactly.
Vile thing, you make my butt sting.
Yeah, Gim Z New York Ranger is reporting that Eichel is a cancer in the locker room. We've heard some things about that, but
he's got a
how
source.
can he not be disgruntled? I mean, the team hasn't made the playoffs. The team sucks.
Make me live and work in Buffalo. I'd be pretty disgruntled.
Buffalo's terrible. What a garbage
city, right?
Garbage. Burn it to the ground. I hate their fucking football fans. What a bunch of dicks.
You don't like the Bills Mafia?
Oh, the Bills Mafia is a bunch of douches. And this is even before they were good. I remember the Jets will actually finish ahead of Buffalo. The Jets. And I wore a Jet shirt up there, man. They fucking were attacking. I'm like, you fucking suck. Yeah, well, we got Rex Ryan. I'm like, we got rid of that asshole. And so I'm not fans with Buffalo, and I hate that Mike Harrington.
Right.
Fucking beat reporter, that fat fuck. I know I'm abusing the fat people, and they're one of my own. So listen, I can say it.
Sean McCaff brings up a good point, though. At least Buffalo isn't Kitchener.
That's true.
They should put the ham aside. Welcome to Buffalo. At least it's not Kitchener.
Welcome to Buffalo. Welcome to Kitchener. Home of the ham seltzer. Sorry, I don't want to offend Josh, but Cutter is just going off. Needs to be reprimanded.
Well, that's about all I got.
Yeah, that's all I got too.
I think we've said it all.
Yeah, we've addressed everything, I think.
Monday night we'll do report cards.
Yes.
That should be fun. And
are you doing these report cards based? I just want to ask, what's the criteria? Is it based like what they're getting paid, or is it just like based on performance?
I'm just basing it on performance.
Okay, all right.
I'm just basing it on performance. And I may put a few polls in our group, our Facebook group, and let people grade out, and we can see how the Facebook group graded it out, or may do something like that. We'll see.
Just putting this out here right now as a teaser. Who do you think will be the most controversial guy that we're going to be grading? As far as the bipolar fan base goes. I think
off the top of my head, Truba,
Definitely, I think will be one of those guys.
Truba. Kreider. Zibanejad.
I think Zibanejad's a very hot topic right now.
And Sean McCaff, by the way, did his report card. I read your blog, but when I got to your report card, I stopped because I didn't want to be influenced.
But when we do the show, we'll plug your blog.
Oh, absolutely.
Of course.
Blue Collar Blue Shirts. It's a must read. BlueCollarBlueShirts.com.
Say it 1,000 times. Write it on your hand.
It's Sean writes like these. He calls them manifestos. They are. They are long, but they are interesting and they're funny. So make sure you bookmark that. BlueCollarBlueShirts.com. I sure hope I had that right. I think I do. Pretty sure I do.
Definito burrito.
Plus, you get his great photoshops.
Oh God,
which are not to be missed.
Well, they're kind of funny in their own way.
They're funny because they're so horrible.
Well, you know what it was? I remember when South Park first came out, it was like, oh, this animation is the worst.
Right.
Which, I mean,
that's what made it great.
That's part of its charm.
Right.
You know? So, all right. So, anyway, that we'll do the report cards. We'll get down to business. We'll get down to beeswax.
All right.
I'll actually write things down.
That'll be Monday night. And if there's coach activity, then maybe we'll be on before then. But I wouldn't expect this to be quick. I think this will take, this might take a couple weeks. We'll see for them to come up with
Just expect the unexpected. That's what I'm.
Right.
Get ready.
Right. They might hire Jacques Lemaire. Jacques Lemaire still alive? They might hire him.
Who's the other guy? Ken Hitchcock. What about
Ken
him?
Hitchcock? Oh.
Well, you don't want that guy? Why isn't he in the mix?
Are we the only team left he hasn't coached? Guy's been he's another guy. He's just been everywhere. He's coached like 10 teams, hasn't he?
I know, Al. He's another underachiever, right? Was he one?
He did win a cup, didn't he? Did he win a cup? He won a cup in Dallas. But that's it. I mean, the guy's coached for 30 years. He won one cup. Dallas, Philly, Columbus, St. Louis, Dallas, Edmonton. And he's 70 years old now. It's enough. It's enough.
Well, Scotty Bowman's 87. We could get him out.
Scotty Bowman. Neil Smith. That's who Neil Smith wanted.
Yep.
I think Scotty was with.
I think Brian Atard. That's a great line. The Rangers rehired David Quinn.
Maybe the Rangers will hire David Quinn.
You don't know. You don't know what they're going to do.
You never know.
They're so stupid.
You never know. It's a clean slate.
Yeah, it's a clean slate, and yet another clean slate.
Scotty Bowman is a youthful 87, I believe.
Wow.
Neil Smith wanted him. Had to settle for Roger Nielsen.
I think Pat Quinn is dead. Oh wait, I can't tell. Yeah, I think Pat Quinn and Pat Burns are both dead. I think.
Yes, both of them are dead.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, now we've set the table for Monday's show. Get your report cards. Follow along. Boo us, cheer us as I excoriate the excoriated and bless the blessed.
Yes. And make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page, Blue Shirt Underground, so you get notifications when we are on the air. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook, Blue Shirt Underground Facebook group. And
Patreon, there it is. The scroll there, the crawl, as they say.
Yes, the Patreon is below us. All of you, get on that Patreon, www.patreon.com/Blue Shirt Underground Radio.
And hit the like button if you like us.
I hate that fucking in videos.
And then, hit the button down there and the notifications so you know when we're on.
Shut the fuck up, you fucking plebe.
Yes, it's dumb when those other people do it. But seriously, click the like button if you like the show.
Like button. Really, seriously, that notification.
Really, it's real.
But click the like
button.
All right, guys. We'll see you Monday.
Click the bell. All right, we'll see you guys Monday night, if not sooner. We love you. Eddie, always a pleasure.
I
has
love
been a fun
seeing the
one.
old people, the new people today in the chat room. It was a standing room only.
Yeah. Those of you that are here for the first time, welcome. Make sure you come back. Come see us again. We love you. We'll see you soon. Enjoy the rest of your week. Let's go, Rangers, and good night, everybody.
Fuck the Islanders.
And fuck the Islanders.